Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Jenkins tutorial. I hope you all are doing great and taking care of yourself. In today's journey of Jenkins, we will be talking about an important concept called as Jenkins master-slave concept. We are going to basically understand what is master agent, what is slave agent, what are the benefits of master-slave architecture, and last, we will have the practical session on how to set up your Jenkins master slave architecture on AWS, which is EC2 instance. So let's get started. So then let's first understand what is Jenkins Master. A Jenkins Master comes with a basic installation of Jenkins, and in this configuration, the master handles all the tasks of your build system. Master Jenkins Master is responsible to do the following tasks. So let's go one by one. So the first task here is Jenkins Master acts to schedule the jobs, assign the slaves, and send the bills to the slaves to execute the jobs. In short, Jenkins Master is responsible for everything. The second important task of Jenkins Master is to keep an eye on the slaves at all the times, to monitor the slave state, whether the slave is offline or online. The third task here is master can also run the build jobs directly if necessary. And the last important or the fourth task of the Jenkins master is to keep the track of outcome of all these slaves and basically display you on the console. All right, let's go to the next important concept. What is slave agent? So slave agent is nothing but a slave which runs an agent which runs on a remote machine, and the slave is responsible for the following tasks. So let's get that understood first. So the first task of the slave is slave can be operated on a number of different operating systems. It can be Ubuntu, it can be Windows, it can be your Linux, Solaris, any of the operating system. The second task of the slave agent is to do has what they are told to do by the master, Jenkins master, which involves executing the builds job displayed by the master. And that's what is the role of the master. The role of the master is to distribute its workload to the slave agents so that they can execute the tasks. And the last important task of the slave is you can configure a project to always run on a particular slave machine or a particular type of slave machine, or simply let Jenkins pick the next available slave. Don't worry, we are going to understand what this sentence means, right, in our practical session. Moving to the next thing is, what is the disadvantages of not having the master slave? Performance impact. The master can't able to handle if you have a heavier projects to get a built on single server. Master can't able to execute simultaneously multiple builds for different environments. So these are some of the disadvantages of not having the master slave architecture. Say, for an example, in your project, you want to run the 5,000 test cases on the Jenkins master, which is not possible because Jenkins master will be executing those test cases one by one. But you can execute this if you have a master slave architecture. So let's understand what are the benefits of master slave architecture. Scale out the applications. As and when required, you can basically horizontally or vertically scale your application. Split your work without causing a mess. And at last, or I would say at the end, the top-notch performance. So now let's look at the architecture. So you have a master node, and how are you going to connect to the slaves, or we call it as a Jenkins agent, by using an SSH. So in our next, or I would say in our next video, we will be basically having a practical session of how to connect your agents or the master nodes with the Jenkins agents or the slaves. So let's get started with our practical session. So friends, I'm on my AWS management console and I'm going to click on services and go to EC2. I have already created the two instances called as my slave and my master. Let me show you that. And it is already up and running and it's in availability zone US East 2A. If you haven't watched my previous video of how to install Jenkins on AWS EC2 instance, so kindly go and watch my Jenkins playlist. It also has lots of other information as how to use the environmental variable, how to run your first build job, how to basically create a pipeline job which a dependency on it, and as well as how can you change the admin password. So coming back to our main point, which is establishing a master slave architecture. For that, we have created two EC2 instances. The prerequisite for our master and slave architecture to run smoothly is you need to install the Java on both master and slave. And on master, you would be installing the Jenkins. Once the Jenkins is installed, you will be then establishing the SSH connection between master and slave. And on the slave EC2 instance, we are going to basically create a user, and with the help of that we will be basically creating the keys, and then we will be setting up on our Jenkins console. So let me walk you through that steps what I have spoke right now. So friends, I have already connected my master and the slave EC2 instance using the MOBA X. If you haven't watched my previous video of how to install the Jenkins or on AWS EC2 instance, so kindly do watch where I have walked through the steps. How can you connect the AWS EC2 instance using the MOBA X? So I am already on the master slave, okay, and this is my slave, this is my master. So the first thing we are going to do here is add the user called user add my slave. Okay, group my slave already. Okay, let me type one. Okay, and we have added the group. How can we verify? We have added the user. How can we verify that? etc password, and we see my slave one has been added. So let's now quickly switch to my slave one user, and I am there right now. So let's go to our home directory. Okay, let's type pwd, and if you see right now there are only three hidden files. One is .batch.rc, one is .batch_profile, one is .bash_logout. So now our first step is to generate the key and copy that key into the master server, so that when master tries to connect to the slave, it can do passwordlessly. So let's go there. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is SSH keygen. Okay, sorry, SSH keygen minus T RSA. Okay, just click yes, 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 and our key is generated. Now let's type ls minus lrt. Let me clear the screen, and you see .ssh is being now created. So let's go inside that, and then you will see two files. One is .pub and one is a private key. So let's see here. This is our private key. This is our public key. So let's clear this and copy this dot pub as authorize underscore keys, and let's give the permission as 700. Okay, and now let's copy this authorized key into the master, right? So all I'm going to do is cat, okay, get this key, public key, and copy this under known host, right? That's where we need to copy. So what we are going to do is vi known, make sure the spelling is correct, okay? And we have copied our key, okay? Let's give the permission 700 known host, and let's see. Okay, if you see our key is now copied there, that's how now master will make a connection to the slave. Okay, now let's quickly jump to our Jenkins console, and let's go to the dashboard. Um, delete the project. Let me delete my old projects, and then I will show you. Okay. Let's have a clean thing. Everything is clean. Okay. So now we will be going to the manage Jenkins. In that, then we'll be going on manage nodes. Okay. I have already old one. So let me delete the and now let me click on new node. So there are two ways you can go. Either you can click on manage Jenkins, or you can set up an agent from the welcome to Jenkins page itself. So let's click on this. Let's click permanent agent. Let's type my slave one. Okay, create. And now you're going to basically give here the root directory of your uh, slave, which in this case is pwd home my slave. So let's quickly go there and give the directory. Let's put the number of executors to this is my slave Jenkins slave. Okay. Okay, I'll show you the label later on. Okay, use this node as much as possible and launch. So there are three ways you can launch. Okay, using launch via SSH. We are more interested in this, and we need to give the private IP of our console, right? And that's where we are more interested. So let me quickly go to the EC. Let me quickly go to my slave EC2 instance, get the private ID, and let me show you. Copy here, and now we are going to add the credentials. So there are three ways you can do. One is username with password, one is secret file, secret text certificate, but we are interested more in our SSH username with private key, and that's what I'm going to use. And you know our name of EC2, our username is my slave one. So let's copy that. Let's get the private key here. Okay, we have added here. Let's click add and select my slave one, and there are three ways to verify your host key. We will select manually trusted verification strategy, and at the first connection we are going to do a manual verification, and then you can, if you're you on cloud, then you need to use bring this agent online when in demand and take offline when idle. Otherwise you have other option: keep this agent online as much as possible, keep this agent online according to schedule. So let's just keep this as it is. Okay, and now, okay, we have our my slave is there, but it is not fully functional. You see, it does not shows an architecture, free disk space, nothing is there. So let's click on this. Okay, and remember we selected something called as a trust, manually trusted verification required for the first initial verification. So that's where it gets populated. Click here, yes. And now let's quickly go to the log and see whether we are able to connect or not. See, it is now getting connected and it says the agent is successfully connected and is online. How can you check that? Now you see everything is in sync. That's how you can get your agent up and running on the. So we are now on our dashboard of the manage nodes and clouds section. So now we are going to basically configure it. So I have named it here as built-in node as my master. Okay. And at the same time, I'm going to basically name my slave as here slave. Okay. And click as save. Okay. Now let's go to the dashboard and create our first job. So here let's type our my master demo. Okay, freestyle. Okay, click here. The moment you click here, okay, this is where you can control where you want your project to run. So in this, I'm going to basically say here label expression. You see here, go to advanced, it gives you quite pair how many times you want to try out, use your custom and other stuff. Okay, I'm going to basically give here master label. Okay, that's where it matches that node and it says the node is present. If I give any other thing, okay, you see there is no node mention, right? And that's where now I'm going to run on master, right? And I can display the name or whatever you want, my master demo. Okay, nothing else. Let's go down, build step, execution, and type here date, post name equal. This is my master demo equal job name. Okay, equal. Click save. Okay, and build now. Let's just wait for a second. If you see it has started, let's go on the console. And if you see our build has been executed in the master, it says building on the built-in node. And that's where our master demo is there. It says master demo, success, IP address, and other stuff. Okay. Now, let's create one more thing. Okay, my slave demo. And I'm going to create here freestyle. Okay, and now I want this to run on my slave and it's populates immediately, right? Let's now go here, execute, date, post name. Okay, equal this is slave. Okay, let's click here, build now, and let's just click on console output, and you see now it has built remotely on my slave, and that's the workspace, that's the IP address. How can I verify whether it's running on slave or not? All I need to go here on EC2 console, and you see it is now running on our slave. That's how you can basically uh, control your environment. Okay, and now let's create one more node. Let me go here. Okay, create node. Okay, I'm going to click here node, copy existing node. So which node you want to copy? You can mention here my slave. I'll name it as my slave 2. Okay, create, and now I'm going to make it as Dave. So there would be a scenario where you want multiple agents to run. So you want your UAT code to get deployed on slave with a name UAT. You want your development code to deploy on the slave name as Dave. You want your production code to be deployed on slave prod. That's where how you manage your master slave or your load of your build jobs, right? So that's how we are going to do it. Use this as much. I'm going to make build jobs with a label expression matching this node. Click here on save. Okay, let's click on trusted key. This is here. The project name is Dave here. Okay, and the node is my tool. Let's go here. Click on this my Dave project. Freestyle. Go here, and I want this to be run on Dave. There is no my slave to, sorry, do you mean Dave instead of do you mean Dave instead of D? Go down here, let's type here this equal this is Dave, and let's build now. Let's go here, let's go to console output, and you see it is now running on my slave 2 instead of my slave 1. Let me show you the okay. So if you build history, so if you see our Dave project was run on my slave 2. Okay, let's select last stable build, just build this, which was my this. Now go to dashboard, see where was my slave demo. If you see our this was run on my slave 1. So you we it basically that's how you control your master slave environment and make your life easier. Now let's So I hope you got a better understanding of how to basically control your master-slave architecture. I will be putting down these steps in my video description. Let me know if any questions. Happy to answer that. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Stay tuned. In our next video, we are going to basically talk about the blue green deployment. Bye bye.